Ducks here. So today I want to go through the 5 things that won't work anymore in Madden 20. Now, we all know from a year-to-year basis, the meta changes, things that were effective one year are not effective the next year. And I want to go through what we're looking at for 20 and some of the major changes there from 19. Because I know, like, to talk about it more, I know the big meme is like all the Maddens play alike, but that is not in fact the point at all. Like, Maddens are completely different. So here we go, right into it. The number one thing, we're gonna go 1 to 5. We could go 5 to 1 too, but dealer's choice 1 to 5. Here we are. The fast playmaker. No longer. So I've looked through in the beta, and this is something they can obviously reintroduce. But there was no playmaker chem for the beta for wide receivers. Now, playmaker itself is still in the game, but no longer will the scheme of throw a drag and then quickly playmaker him up, and then he'll break and break zones because they don't react to him. You can playmaker one way or the other to beat man coverage too. No longer will that be like part of the scheme that you can run. Now, playmaker itself, I think, while you're outside the pocket, making guys move to like where you want them for the scramble drill, because the scramble drill is very inconsistent, and being able to kind of direct them to the green grass and high tides, the open field, is really nice. But the ability for them to cut faster than anybody can, like else on the field, it was very overpowered. I'm glad that they got rid of the chemistry, not necessarily the ability for guys to cut, like I said, but the actual chemistry in MUT. So that is gone, thankfully, because there's some guys like, it felt like a bailout situation a lot of times, or like sometimes it was part of their offense too, where you'd see playmakers happen 30 yards downfield. So like they'd run a couple like clear outs, a crosser, and then like the playmaker, because they were able to move so quickly and you could never determine when it happened with your user, it beat you. And like I said, it also beat man coverage too, so they were able to get separation there too. So the fast playmaker, thankfully, in my opinion, is gone. Now, I don't know if you guys like that or not. Let me know in the comments, of course, but I, for one, am a fan of that, and I really hope they don't reintroduce that chemistry later, because it just felt overpowered at times in game. Number 2, the thing that won't happen in Madden 20, sitting in the pocket. So being able to just sit behind your offensive line as a 4-man rush comes in. We did have ways of making it like glitchy with the D-line loop blitz, and that like kind of like make your D tackle go around the end, and the guard and tackle wouldn't be able to switch because the offensive line intelligence wasn't smart enough, and the running back messed up blocking too. So there's that. It was a way of making the 4-man rush pretty good. But in 20, being able to sit in the pocket just against a standard 4-man rush won't work that well. Being able to sit there for 5, 6, 8 seconds and watch guys run, and then be able to scramble back if they do get some pressure on you, do a 360 no scope down the field headshot while your guy's running like within a yard of the sideline, off balance from your quarterback, and complete that for like a first down and 4th and 30. That's gone. All right, so it's kind of nice. Like when you scramble back more than, I think it's 10 yards, your quarterback gets very, very inaccurate. Also, the buttons disappear, which the buttons did disappear in 19. That isn't anything new, but I think it's, from what I know, shorter. You can't go back as far as you could before they disappeared in 19. So, and so the pass rush being tuned up, which I've talked about in the past. I think the pass rush being better in 19 and 20 is great, as long as it's not like overpowered as hell. Like, as long as we're not getting sacked in 2 seconds, having a harsh pass rush is great. It's realistic, because I think Madden and the MUT developers are kind of in a tough spot with the pass rush, because we're like, why isn't Khalil Mack? Why isn't J.J. Watt? Why isn't Aaron Donald getting home on the defensive side? But then on the offensive side, we're like, why isn't Tyron Smith? Why isn't DeCastro? Why isn't Larry Allen? Why aren't these guys stopping the pass rush like these all-pro linemen would? So it's a tough tug of war there, because the average sack rate, the average time it takes a defensive lineman or a sack to get home is 4.3 seconds in the NFL, which is pretty quick. Like in Madden, the average sack time for 4-man rush is around 6 to 7 seconds, it feels like. So making people make those reads, not allowing crossers to always just get across, or deep in routes to get open, it's really nice. Now, against a 3-man rush, having a quick 3-man rush is terrible, right? Just put everybody back in defense and then let 3 guys get at the quarterback and get home in 4 seconds. I think that's unbalanced, right? Because it becomes a lot harder to find spaces, kind of a lot harder to let routes develop then, because you do need developing routes in order to beat 8 men in coverage. You got to either do that or you run the ball, run draws or something to make them kind of play back. So the counterplay in this game is very important. Like Madden at its best is a chess match, right? Madden, I think why we all love it is we see the potential of football and what we as video game players do in football, right? It's got the most depth potential of any game. So you can also, one, it's like a real-time strategy game because you're trying to beat your guy, trying to read the defense and execute. So it's like a timing game too with the pass. It's a strategy game trying to call concepts to beat whatever defense puts out there. So like it's a whole lot of genres mixed together when it comes to Madden. And then of course when you bring in MUT, it's kind of like, you know, Pokemon collectible card games, building your team, building your roster, kind of like an RPG like that too. So in depth, MUT's got a lot of great stuff, but that's kind of off the point. Sitting in the pocket, gone, right? Because the pass rush has gotten so much. Number 3 is the high point cheese. So high points were significantly nerfed. High point wheels, high point near the end zone, high point curls. The ball doesn't seem to stick in the receiver's hands as well. The quarterbacks also that we were using, to be fair, they don't throw the ball as accurately as they did at the end of the stats on the cards that we were using at the start in the beta, and we're not as good as the MUT cards. And same thing with a spectacular catch. So this is still to be determined because last year the high point cheese was good early in the year, but it really got powerful around when Megatron came out. I think December-ish. There was the patch that helped them hang on to high point balls a little bit more, and then we got those high spec catch guys. You know, we got one like Jimmy Graham at Halloween, but then once we got that Megatron headliner, that's when it really became high point fest. And kind of annoying. But that's not to say it wasn't good early in the year. But 20, it's looking like right now, with what we've played, the high points has taken a little bit of a knockdown. Now, of course, this can all change, but the high point cheese seems to be not the effective strategy going into 20. Now, this says nothing about low point, as low point could always find its way, and it frequently does find its way back into the meta. Number 4. Now, this, I think, is more of a negative in my point. That's not going to work. The one-cut system. The one-cut system was developed for Madden 18 to kind of give you a burst, kind of like give you more user skill. And you really didn't see a lot of the one-cuts take over until later in the year. You saw your boy Savage do it on his channel. You saw Dcraft put out a montage of him doing it. Even guys like me learned how to one-cut because of just how effective it can be. You slow down, you one-cut. You know, you saw a lot of one-cut on users being able to stop and go and keep up with wide receivers running as fast as they can. So the shift in momentum, the one-cut I thought was really nice because it did show off a little bit of a skill gap. So losing that sucks, but I think overall we did gain something with the more nimble left stick and being able to kind of shift your guy a little bit more instead of basically tapping it and them kind of cutting too hard. So I will definitely, I think overall it's an upgrade. It's just unfortunate we lost a little bit of the one-cut system because it was really nice and it was glitchy at times being able to find your way through, really trying to like show off your burst as a football player on the field. Looked really cool for highlight tapes at least. And along with that, if we want to talk about the other moves, for example, the spin move isn't nearly as good. The juke move is going to be the meta move next year. It does feel like the game kind of switches from one move to another every year as EA like balances the game. It makes more sense because in the NFL, like you don't see as many spin moves. When somebody executes a spin move, IRL, we're talking about it all year. Like it's something that's like, whoa! I can't believe that just happened. They just spinned out a dude. But whereas like juke moves and slight body weight shifts happen a little bit more. Madden 20, it's going to be very hard to get out of like 3 men closing upon you. Whereas like maybe in years past, especially like 18 with the left trigger spin, you were able to get out of those kind of moves a little bit easier. You're able to spin them all out. So I think we're going to see like you can get out of like 2 guys with the juke, but more than that, it's going to be very hard to gain any extra yards. Whether that's good or bad is up to you. And the jukes this year also get more animations, a lot more like duck under jukes, kind of like shift off jukes, like where you kind of just get off their arm tackle. So that's a nice addition to the game because I think that's kind of more realistic. Guys break arm tackles more than they actually make them look, break ankles in the NFL. Number 5 thing that won't work in Madden 20 are the user lurks from like 15 yards away. Now, you guys have heard me in the past yell about jump picks and how my opponents can get these jump picks, but where are my jump picks and the inconsistencies around them. Now linebackers won't be getting them. Now that's not to say safeties won't, cornerbacks won't. The DBs and the linebackers with their special abilities will still be there. Like, they'll still get decent jump picks, but with the ball trajectory changing, with them having a specific focus on levels, concepts, and those things working, so you're not able to lurk a drag and post route at the same time, we're going to have a little bit of a change to the metagame there too. So opening up the offense to the middle of the field, especially because that's where the quarterback, as I talked about in the motion video that I put out on my channel a couple days back, along with those changes, will allow a little bit more levels concepts to be into the meta. And I'm not saying like post routes were still meta, right? We still saw a lot of post routes, a lot of things over the middle, but it was a lot more like crossers because they got under safeties a little bit more. It doesn't look like safety play is like as spectacular as you'd like it. A lot of times we still see the safeties not break on streaks straight at their face, and that's an issue. But the ability for linebackers and maybe guys over the middle not to be superhuman is a huge positive change for Madden 20. So that's my list, the 5 things that won't work anymore for Madden 20. Let me know what you guys think. Anything else on your mind? What else are you excited about for Madden 20 or a little disappointed with your experience in the beta? Let me hear it below. Thanks for watching. Call to action. I will see you tomorrow.